Am I the AITA for cutting up and altering my wedding dress into a functional dress instead of giving it to my sister who can't afford an expensive dress? Story 1. So I was supposed to get married 2 months ago to my ex-partner of 5 years. Sadly, we broke up because he cheated on me at his bachelor party with a dancer. I had this beautiful dress that cost me around $2,000 out of my pocket. I've been very depressed since everything happened because I felt it was somehow my fault for not being sexy enough or not giving him what he wanted. So last weekend I decided to take my power back and I began altering the dress. I have been sewing for more than 15 years, so I know what I'm doing. I cut it a bit, changed the color to something less wedding-y, and after a week of work I had a beautiful gown that I could use for more stuff. The problem comes now. I uploaded that picture of the dress to Instagram with a caption that said something along the lines of, "You can change the worst memories," or something like that. My sister hits me up and asks me if that was my old wedding dress, and I tell her yes. She then called me and asked me why I had done this. I asked her why it was such a big deal, and she told me that I could have waited until after the wedding. I was so confused. Then she reminded me that when we were staying at the hotel where my wedding was supposed to happen, my mom and sister were cheering me up, and my sister said something along the lines of, "Oh well, if you're not using it, I will." We all laughed, so I thought it was a joke because it was never brought up again after. She just asked me once what material it was, so I assumed she wanted something similar. Now my sister is mad at me, and my mom says she understands our points of view. But I could have waited 5 more months until after her wedding to take my power back. I was so confused that I approached some people for their opinion and advice. So after being assured that I did nothing wrong, I decided to try to talk it out with my sister. So I tried calling her, but she had blocked my number. I was very confused and talked to my mother. She was trying to stay out of it and got a little mad and said that it was not fair. My sister was not right because she never formally asked me, and how was I supposed to just guess that she wanted it? She tried to justify herself, but in the end she also accepted that my sister was wrong. Nonetheless, she told me to just give her space and that she would come to terms with it herself. I waited a few days until I met her in the supermarket. At first, she tried to act like she didn't see me, but I planted myself in front of her. She was just rolling her eyes, saying she had places to be. And I just said, I hope you notice how unfairly you're treating me, and then left her alone. That night, I received a call where I was berated for being selfish for about 20 minutes by her. I asked her if she was done and asked her if we could talk it out like adults. She came over the next night, and we had an exhausting fight, screaming and crying, and after all was said and done, she actually apologized for everything. She was kind of jealous of my dress and of the wedding I almost had, and she was embarrassed that she couldn't afford everything I could and that she felt like she failed as an adult and as a mother. And honestly, I get it. Not because I think she is a failure, but because I get how it feels if your brain tells you that you failed at life because you don't have things that other people have. She apologized also because she was trying to blame me for her problems and said that everything would be easier if she wasn't the one to blame. We talked a lot more until I told her that she didn't need a fancy dress and that we could search for something basic and I could help her decorate it with something. She agreed, and we actually did get to customize a very basic gown. As we didn't have much time, it's not super fancy. Sadly, due to the outbreak, the wedding, which was supposed to happen this month, was canceled. They had a courthouse wedding where she wore one of my dresses, and she is celebrating in August, if that's possible. So that's everything. So even if I was not an a-hole and my sister seemed like a brat, she was dealing with some pretty heavy feelings, and I still love her. This story is all about family, courage, and understanding, and it all started with heartbreak and the need to rediscover one's identity after experiencing the cancellation of her wedding due to her ex-fiance's betrayal. It's natural that she went through a period of depression where she questioned her self-worth and wondered if there were things she could have done differently. However, the shining moment in her story is that she emerged from the depths of her depression and made a conscious choice to reclaim her sense of empowerment and opted to transform her wedding gown into something new, reflecting her journey toward healing and self-empowerment. It's really admirable that she made the decision to lift herself up and move forward rather than dwelling on the what-ifs and could-have-beens in life. When confronted with situations that make us question our very essence, it's essential to resist the temptation to wallow in despair. Instead, it's better to chart a new course, because when the path we were on leads to disappointment, forging a fresh and unexplored path can lead to new opportunities and growth. But when she posted her outfit change on social media, it caused a conflict with her sister. This incident demonstrated how misinformation may damage relationships, even among close family members. And when she sought guidance from her mother, assuming that her mother would understand her perspective, she realized that while her mother did understand her point of view, she was left with the impression that she was incorrect. This obviously left her feeling betrayed by the situation. Nonetheless, after hearing the opinions of others, she gained confidence that she had not acted unreasonably and chose to discuss the situation with her sister. Given their opposing viewpoints and the intensity of their feelings, it was only natural for passions to flare and accusations to fly during their discussion. What makes her story unique is how both sisters eventually found the courage to confront their flaws. Because, well, beneath the surface, her sister was dealing with her own fears, which had been triggered by the sight of the changed clothing. Their touching talk revealed that her attitude was motivated less by hatred toward her and more by personal difficulties. Finally, they reached an agreement, and their friendship became stronger than ever. Arguably, this is a story about the power of forgiveness, empathy, and family relationships. It shows how, even in the face of adversity, love and understanding can rebuild relationships and bring about healing.
Psst, guess what? This video is sponsored by none other than me and my awesome crew at Rufus Rugs. We're the masters of creating custom, hand-tufted rugs that truly capture who you are. Whether you're looking to turn one of our intriguing thumbnails into a rug, for purely academic reasons, of course, or you're eager to transform your room with some epic anime-inspired designs, we can get it done for you. These are all handmade by me and the team from Canada. No dropshipping BS here. Real, handmade custom rugs by me and my friends. Click the first link in the description to learn more.
Story 2. I'll try to keep this short. I had a 1967 Impala 4-door that I bought in February of 2019. A couple of months ago, I bought my first house that had a 2.5-car garage. I moved the car in and started tearing it down for a complete restoration. I had the body in one bay and the chassis in another, plus the whole garage was filled with parts. About 2 months ago, my girlfriend came to live with me during this whole crisis, and the whole time she has hated that car. She wants to park in the garage, but I have 2 acres of land with a lot of nice places to park under shady trees, or heck, even in the barn if it has to be inside. I told her, tough luck, it's my house and it's not like I can just throw it back together real quick. Anyway, I was out of town for a couple of days on a business trip for the small local company I work for. When I got back, my girlfriend was all smiles, making me food all the time, doing all the chores, and all I thought was maybe she was just happy to have me home. But then I realized that I didn't see her car in its usual spot. I asked her where she parked so I could make sure I mowed that area and keep it clean, and said not to worry because she parked in the garage. I asked how, and she told me to go check it out. It turns out that while I was gone, she hired some people to come over and move everything related to that car, including the drivetrain, body, chassis, and all parts, and take it to the local dump or scrapyard. I was absolutely dumbfounded. I had spent over $11,000 on that car, including new parts, services, and the car itself. I told her that I was going to be taking her to court for that, and she brushed me off like I was being dramatic. I told her that it was done between us and to pack her things and leave. I admit I was really angry, but I did end up getting a lawyer. And as I have all the receipts for all that money spent, and I have her on my house's security cam footage letting the guys in and watching them take it all, I think I can win. Her family and friends are absolutely blowing me up, saying it's just a stupid old piece of junk, and that she cannot pay back all that money I had spent, and that I should just let it go. But I have been putting all my time, my effort, and my money into that car for 1.5 years now. And if I'm not going to get justice for what she did, I don't know what I'll do. I started working on gathering documentation, and when I had enough, I went to the police station and filed an official report against my ex for grand larceny and grand theft auto. I showed them all the receipts I had for the car and the footage of her letting the guys come and take it, as well as the title for the vehicle in my name. They said they'll be in contact with me with all three parties, me, my ex-GF, and the junkyard guys soon, and that they will hopefully be able to recover some or all of the car. I just have to wait. After a couple of days, the police contacted me with good news. They had found my car. The junkyard guys were apparently in the middle of hiding it when the police came to ask them questions. It was on a forklift and they were going to put it on top of a pile of cars that was hidden behind more piles of cars. They said it was theirs and they had the title, but they obviously didn't have the title for it, and since they matched the VIN on the chassis and body to the VIN on my title, it was obviously mine. I know at least one person there has been arrested. I think he was in the camera footage I talked about earlier, but I don't know if it was the boss or whomever or even his specific charge. They also told me they would be looking into this specific junkyard for any other vehicles reported stolen. They said they haven't been able to get in contact with my ex just yet, but they're working on it. I'm just so glad they found my car. Luckily, I made quite an album of pictures detailing me tearing down the car, and I can use that to prove what parts they had were mine, so I can hopefully get most or all of it back. The police haven't let me take it back home yet because they said it is evidence or something, so hopefully I can get it back eventually. She's gonna be alright. Dude, a 1967 Impala? Seriously, I'm so jealous right now. That's like my ultimate dream car. Anyway, this dude's story is somewhat unusual and bizarre, involving his car and broken love. Many guys love building cars, and he's no different. A few years ago, he bought his dream muscle car, and when he was looking for a new house, he made sure it could fit his car and restoration plans. Unbeknownst to him, though, there would be a major obstacle in his plans when his ex-girlfriend suddenly decided to live with him in his house. She had always hated his car and was frustrated she couldn't park her car because his car was taking up room in the garage. So when he was away on a business trip, she arranged for everything linked to his car to be hauled away to a scrapyard. Even I, a total stranger, was completely shocked when I heard what the girlfriend did. Messing with the guy's other stuff is one thing, but tampering with his car, especially after all the time, money, and effort he's poured into it? Who does that? It's not only thoughtless, but also shows how little respect she has for this dude. So when he discovers this dramatic turn of events, he's naturally surprised and enraged. Legal action was considered, their relationship was broken, and emotions ran high. It didn't help that friends and family members expressed opposing views on whether the car was worth the trouble or not. But I'd have to say that I admire this dude's steadfast decision in taking legal action because it is a reasonable response to address his situation. Given the significant financial investment and emotional attachment involved in the restoration project, pursuing legal remedies to recover damages or seek justice is just and appropriate. But a dramatic change of events happened when he decided to pursue justice and involve the authorities. The cops eventually found his missing car, which was stowed away by junkyard workers who were attempting to make it disappear. Legal action is being launched against the individuals involved, and finally he feels optimistic about reclaiming his prized possession. In life, we often face challenges that can make us question our path to achieving our goals. However, much like this guy, what truly matters is our unwavering determination to pursue our dreams despite the obstacles. It's crucial not to be swayed by the opinions of others. Instead, trust your own judgment and keep pushing forward. Story 3. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I am the primary care provider for a lot of the low-risk maternity cases at the practice where I work. I also work hand-in-hand with the doctors and midwives to create a healthy maternity, birth, and postpartum situation. Now, my fiancée is completing her residency. We live together and have for a few years now. We aren't in any hurry to get married. We originally had plans to do so a couple of years ago, but then we got really busy for 2 years. It is driving my very religious parents crazy that their youngest son is living in sin. I don't really care. I'm an adult and I do what I want to do. We're getting married in June. So we're visiting my parents for Christmas. The way it came together this year, everyone is at my parents' house. So that's my folks, my 3 siblings, myself and my fiancé, and 7 grandchildren. So 17 people. At dinner, my mom started going on about how she is so glad that we are finally getting married and that she won't be embarrassed at church anymore. And my dad says how proud he is of his 3 older kids who all either waited to get married before moving in together or got married right away after moving in together. My fiance was getting embarrassed and I was getting mad over this stupid argument we have had way too many times. At the family dinner was the last straw. I've asked them repeatedly to just accept that they cannot control how I live my life. I refuse to stay with them when I visit, even if I come alone. Hotels are just easier. So I started talking about a premature baby I had been reading about. It was almost 3 months premature and weighed about 1.6 pounds. It was super strong and healthy for being born so little, and the NICU had high hopes for the baby doing well. My mom and dad both had deer in the headlights look on their faces. Too bad. They should have not messed around with my fiance's feelings. So I asked about my oldest brother. He was born almost 4 months premature. Is there a chance that we could check out the family album where we keep all the records of family births and stuff? I already know my brother was over 9 pounds and almost 23 inches long when he was born. My grandmother told me all about it the first time my parents tried to shame me. Now the subject changes very quickly. After supper, my parents told me that I should not try to embarrass them with private things that are not my concern. I told them that if I heard anything ever again about my living arrangements for the rest of my life, I would make sure to keep bringing up the fact that my mom was in her second trimester when they got married. My parents are mad at me for telling them how to behave in their own home, but my fiancé is happy that they seem to be off the subject now for good. This story shows us a dilemma that goes beyond family relationships and into the heart of social conventions and individual choices. The nurse practitioner and his fiancé have chosen a path that defies conventional wisdom. They've decided to live together before getting married, a decision that mirrors an increasing tendency in modern culture. What's amazing about their decision is that it's strongly rooted in the conviction that personal choices should remain just that. Living together before marriage is no longer met with the same level of suspicion or condemnation as it formerly was in today's environment. Many couples make this choice because they want to test their compatibility, develop their bond, or simply enjoy life together before committing. This transition reflects a greater understanding of different ways of living and relationships. Freedom of choice and personal decisions are more prized today than ever before. It's no longer about complying with established standards, but about charting a course that feels right for the people involved. In addition, the story also emphasizes the need for family understanding and respect. The nurse's parents, who are strongly devout, struggle to understand their child's decisions. This generational gap in viewpoint is not uncommon in today's culture, where younger generations frequently embrace more progressive views, while their elders may still hold traditional values dear. Christmas dinner became an instrument of generational divisions and attitudes. The parents' preoccupation with their youngest son's living arrangements reflects a broader challenge, bridging the gap between traditional beliefs and modern choices. It serves as an important reminder that while society's conventions have changed, not everyone has accepted these changes. The skillful shifting of the conversation to premature babies by the nurse serves as a timely reminder. It emphasizes that in today's diverse culture, people have a wide range of life choices, and these choices deserve to be respected. The hidden message is that no one should be judged merely on their living arrangements, as these decisions are frequently influenced by unique circumstances and personal reasons. This incident serves as a reminder that accepting and respecting one another's choices, regardless of whether they match with one's personal views, is critical to preserving healthy family interactions. While the nurse's actions initially caused agony, they have the desired effect of putting an end to the ongoing dispute regarding their lifestyle. Finally, it's a story about striking a balance between personal convictions and supporting loved ones' choices even when they differ from one's own. So if you enjoy these stories, you don't want to miss rSlashAITA. I will never accept my sister or her life choices. Story number 2 is fantastic. Also, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to stay in the loop about our upcoming videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the next one.